Thank you for joining me today. My name is Kevin Reynolds. I'm the Jellyfish Product Manager. I'll be doing today's webinar here. This webinar is one that we do that's a bit specialized. It's specifically for the cannabis industry. But we also have more general webinars that we do on Tuesday and Wednesday, where we take a deep dive specifically either into the retailer side or into the supplier side. But the cannabis industry usually has some unique questions that come up, and so it's nice to do a webinar specifically for you. What I'm going to do today is show a little bit of both sides here, both the suppliers and the retailers. And the way that I typically do this is I'm going to start over on the supplier side because so much of what happens for the retailer gets set up on the supplier side. And it's important to see how that works in order to understand sort of the full circle of how the orders are created, received, the whole works. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started here. What I am going to do is bring up that out of the way here. And I'm going to bring up the supplier screen. So when you first start using Jellyfish as a supplier, the first thing you're going to be asked to do is you're going to be asked to set up a distribution center, which is effectively your warehouse. You're going to be asked to set up a sales division or an item catalog, depending on what you call it, and then your customer list and any specialized pricing for those customers. I'm going to roll through this because even if you're a retailer, it's important to see how your account would be set up on the supplier side. It tends to answer a lot of questions. So I am in an account that I have for a supplier. It's my demo account here. It's called J. Peterman. And the screen that you're looking at right now is a dashboard for my entire account. I can have multiple warehouses in multiple regions. This shows information from all of them. If I want to drill in and see something in a specific distribution center, which is what I'm going to do today, I'm going to click on my Mountain Region Distribution Center. You can see here that I've set this up so that each of my distribution centers or warehouses is taking care of customers in specific states. This makes a lot of sense if you have some geographic space between your warehouses and your customers, typically only buy from a single warehouse. I'm not going to go through the setup of the warehouses here. It's pretty simple. It's an address. It's choosing what states you're going to deliver to, that type of stuff. If you deliver to all states and you have one warehouse, then you're just going to have all 50 states listed here. Pretty simple. I'm going to go into my Mountain Region warehouse now, and you can see that now you're getting a dashboard here that shows you information specific to that warehouse, and also my menu options have changed just a little bit over here. So by this point in time, I've got my warehouse set up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a sales division or a item catalog. And that word is sort of in transition right now because we decided item catalog made more sense to people, so I'm starting to use that more, and that's what's going to show up there in the menu here within the next month or so. Sales divisions are just a natural way to separate your products into different catalogs. Maybe you have a chemical catalog and you have a food catalog. Each one of those may have completely different items in it, and they may very well have different reps that are selling those products. So for the extent of thinking about it, just think about it as two different little divisions within your company, different item catalogs. And customers can be restricted to only buying from certain item catalogs if you want them to. I'm going to be working out of my retail goods catalog today. I'm going to click on this and show you what an item list looks like. So as you get into the retail goods catalog here, you see your item list. This is one of the second things we set up for you as a supplier when you come on board. Once you have your warehouse set up, we'll help you set up your item catalog. We can do this by bulk uploading your items in a spreadsheet. Pretty simple to do, but we do it for you just because we do it a lot. It eliminates a lot of the little gotchas and the errors and things like that. Happy to do it. There's no charge for that. And when you set up an item, what you end up with here is certain fields that are required. We have lots of different items, fields that you can have here, but not all of them required. A lot of them are optional. It really depends on what you want your customers to see. In this particular case, you can see we have an item image in here. I got my item code, item name. Only a few of these, like I said, are required. Things like the item name are required. You have to have a pack list price or an each list price. You got to have some sort of list price for us. You need to have an item size so we can help people identify what they're paying for. We also have the ability, if you want, you can put your quantity on hand in from your warehouse there for your customers to know how many you have. This is something that can be turned off if you don't want to use it. A lot of these other things are pretty optional here, including UPCs. If you have barcodes, great, put them on there because you'll see in a minute it's really easy for the retailers to be able to purchase from you if you have a UPC. You will notice that we have the item image up here. We just have the ability to do thumbnails. One of the main things to get to know about Jellyfish here is our goal is to make everything faster for both the retailer and for the supplier. We save you time times money. We eliminate errors. We do a lot of this by having a very defined path that people follow to quickly order the products they need. So for us, when you're thinking about a retailer there, we're not giving the retailers a big, beautiful Amazon-style page with 5 pictures of video and reviews and all these types of things. What we're giving them is just the information they need to be able to identify the item that they want to reorder from you and throw it in their cart as fast as possible. We save retailers 75% of the time or so on their inventory and their ordering processes. For suppliers, we also save a huge amount of time for you with data entry and the cost of errors, fixing problems that come in, because this information that you've put in right here is also what the retailer sees. So you're no longer sending catalogs to the retailer. You're no longer giving them PDFs or spreadsheets with your item list every quarter that they inevitably don't actually update in QuickBooks. And so you end up getting orders that are incorrect for items that no longer exist, or they say things like they want, green tea and a text to you, and you don't know which green tea it is that they're actually saying they want. Now, for today, even though we're doing a cannabis industry demo here, I do tend to have a bunch of different types of items in here, and I'm going to stick with things like tea and stuff like that today. I have hardware, I have IT equipment in here, I have 3D printers and filaments and all sorts of stuff, because you can put anything you want into Jellyfish as a supplier, as long as it has the ability to, and I'll go back here and show you those required fields once again. Let's go back to that Zenith Gypsy Tea here. As long as you have the ability to put in an item name, an item description, an item size, some sort of a pack size there, a category, and a price, you can put anything in here. And that includes services, by the way. And we do have people that use this for 3-year service contracts. Pretty much an item's an item in our world here. And as long as you can define it by those specific attributes, an item name, a description, and a price, maybe a pack size, 1 could be the size. If it's a 3-year service contract, they're getting 1. That type of thing, we can throw it in here and people can reorder it really fast, really easy. So that is the item setup. Then the last thing that you get set up is the customer list. And this is important for both the retailers and the suppliers to understand, because it's a mix of information from both. When we start and create your account with you there as a supplier, we're going to import your customer list. But you're also going to add customers over time, and customers can request to become an account with you through Jellyfish, and I'll show that a little bit later here. But we're going to upload your customer list, and what that looks like here, effectively, let me go in and take a look at this particular account right here. You see that you have some information here. This is what you put in as a supplier initially. But then this is maintained by the retailer once they come on board. So when we add your customers initially, we'll go ahead and send an email out to them saying, hey, customers, in this case, Jay Peterman, the name of my account, is now using Jellyfish as their order management system. Download the free app for your phone or log in on your desktop, and customers can use it for free. We don't charge them a dime to give them a really cool, easy way to order products from you. Customers are always free, retailers are free. The information, though, here eventually gets maintained by the customer. So if they change locations, you immediately get the updated address. If they change their site visiting times here, you immediately get that. If they have admins that change, you immediately see that in here as well, so you know who you're dealing with. The customer account number is something that typically will come from your accounting system, whatever their account number is that would be on the invoices. If you're someone that delivers to them, you run trucks, you can put in a delivery day or days for them. Here's a little preview of something that's coming. Pretty cool stuff. We're going to include some payment technology in here for you on the supplier side, where you'll be able to send your customers a invoice, and they'll be able to see it right there. Within the cannabis industry, obviously, there are restrictions to what we can do here. We use Square for this, which is one of the more friendly payment processors for aspects of the cannabis industry, mainly things like hemp and CBD. But if you get anything with the higher levels of THC, not even Square is okay with that at this point in time. But I think they'll be one of the first whenever that rolls around because they are friendly with the other products. So depending on where you're at in the cannabis industry, you may be able to bill your customers. You can always send them an invoice through Jellyfish. Whether or not you'll be able to collect payment through Jellyfish through Square, well, that's up to Square because you get to create your account with Square. We don't do the payment processing. We just integrate it with it. And so as you go through the account approval process, they're either going to approve you or deny you, but that's between you and Square at this point in time. But they are pretty friendly with hemp and CBD specifically for some of the people I've talked to, some of our customers have gotten that through. All right. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to set up your customers' negotiated pricing, their order guide here. This is once again something we can just upload for you. But this says that they may be buying something here. Pack list price is $60. They get it for $42.50. When you put these prices in, they see those immediately on the retail side. And if there's ever any changes, if your rep makes a change to negotiated price while they're talking with the customer, because the customer says, hey, I'm going to buy a bunch of this stuff, that gets reflected on both sides immediately as well. So visibility and accountability is something that you're going to see that we really push through the system as we move forward. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the retail side here. I'm going to drag this across. You're going to see that this looks a lot like the supplier side. And I'm going to go back up here to my home screen. Once again, you have a dashboard. On the retail side, you can have a hierarchy with multiple sites, just like you can on the supplier side, where you can have multiple locations all under one corporate account. Employees can be assigned to specific locations, just like they can over on the warehouse side, I should say, as well there. And what you find there is also that you can have employees that go across locations. You can have purchasing rolling up to one person across lots of locations. There's a lot of ways you can do this to make it fit the way that you do business. But what I'm going to show you here is when you first set up your account, you're going to end up setting up your account here, which for me is a wine and spirits and liquor store, basically, just your generic, items there, bottles of booze. And then what you're going to end up doing is you're going to be setting up your sites. And I've set up 5 sites here that I have just for demo purposes. I'm going to be working out of my wine and spirits site today, which also happens to be the headquarters for my little retail enterprise here. Once you have those set up, you're going to, in the case of receiving an invite from a supplier, so if I had sent an email out saying, hey, I want you to use Jellyfish now to place your orders with me, you would come into the supplier's invite area here, and you would find various invites in here from suppliers, and all you do is click on it, accept the invite, and all your items and your order guides are all loaded automatically into Jellyfish for you. So it's super easy for the retailers to get started. Once you have that going, I suggest that you just go into the order first. You can do inventory first if you want. You can do other things. But for today's demo, let's just roll through an order here. Because I have multiple sites and I'm the owner, I have access to all my sites. A lot of employees would not have access to all these sites. And so I'm going to go in here and click on that one. If it wasn't me, they might only see the site that they're able to work at. And in that particular case, they wouldn't even get that list. It would just put them right into one site that they're able to work at. This is my list of orders here. And these are orders I've placed to my various suppliers. You can see one of the things we have here is various statuses of your orders, things like submitted to rep, shipped, approved by rep. That's important because today one of the big complaints we hear from the retailers is that they don't get feedback about whether their orders have been received or accepted or not. And part of that's on the side of the retailers, not all on the side of the suppliers, because when the supplier's getting a bunch of texts from people, and I have one guy that says he gets about 100 texts a day from various people that want to order stuff, it's hard for them to reply to everybody and say that they've received the order, they got it, it looks good, because they're probably not even entering those orders at that point in time. They're going to do that at night, later that day. We'll sit down somewhere, do 2 hours of order entry. We get rid of all that. They can accept your order pretty much as soon as they receive it. They get a notification on their phone, which you'll see in just a second here. I'm going to go ahead and place a new order. Very easy. All you do is go up to new order there, and you come to the search bar. Now, this screen, I should say, is also available on your smartphone. So you could be sitting here using a smartphone, and if you have your phone, you can just scan barcodes. So if your supplier has put barcodes on their items, there'll be a little camera right here because I'm just emulating this on my PC. It's not here, but there'll be a little camera icon right here. You click on that, it opens the camera on the phone, you scan the barcode, and it immediately will pop up the item that you want to order. Super fast, super easy. The other ways that you can get items would be you can just search for the item. So if I know I need more of that Zena's key there, I can click on that. It brings it right up for me here. Now, I have two things I can do. If I want to see more details here, if I'm shopping, so if instead of looking at Zena's tea here, let's say I was in here in my tea area, and that would be in my non-alcoholic beverages here, I can see all the various teas I have. And if I wanted to get more information about something like Zena's here, I could click on that. I get my little icon there, make sure I'm ordering the right thing. I can see some item tags, which I can use to help me order. I can say, show me all the organic tea, and anything that's tagged with organic will pop up, and I can order that. And then all the information I need here, including if my supplier is putting quantities in the system, I can see how many they have on hand. Either way, you're going to add the item to your cart. And this is going to feel kind of Amazon-like to you, because all you're going to do here is when you find the item that you want to add to your cart, you're going to click on quantity. In this case, this is only available by the pack or the case, and I'm going to get 2 of these and hit submit. Now, if I have other items that I like to get that may be from other vendors, as a retailer, one of the advantages here is you're not logging into multiple systems. You're not ordering things by, waiting for different reps or calling different reps or anything like that. I can now get something from Cramerica Industries here, which is a completely separate company, and I can add that to my cart as well, and now I have 2 items in my cart. If I go to my cart right now, you can see I have subtotals right here showing me the dollar amount I'm ordering from each one, and if I had, say, a $200 limit with J. Peterman here to order stuff without receiving a delivery charge, then I might want to actually move these items to my hold list until I have more items to order from them. At the point, though, where I have both of them ready to go, I can hit place order. Now, keep in mind, I could also be doing this just as easily, like I said, on a desktop in the back office. And I also have the ability for restricting my employees so that they can't actually place the orders to the rep. They can only send the orders to me. It acts just like it did right here, but they're not able to actually submit the order to the rep. They hit the place order button, it comes to me, and it goes into a review category for me to review the orders. I can edit them, I can delete them, I can change them, make them how I want them, and then I send them to the rep. So it's really up to you how you want to do business. Let's go ahead and place our order here. You can see order has been submitted successfully at this point in time, and I am going to go back to this screen right here. I have my 2 orders I just created here, one for Cramerica and one for J. Peterman, and they've both been submitted to the reps. If I want to see the details on what I ordered, I can click on View Details, brings it up here. You can see who ordered it, who approved the order. I can see my rep information if I want to contact the rep here. On a smaller smartphone type screen, this just pops up right here, and you can click on it just like any other phone number, and it will dial it right there on your smartphone for you. That order's now been placed. It's with my supplier. All right, well, let's go ahead and keep moving here, and that order has now been sent. I'm going to show you that order. I'm just going to pull that page up here, submitted to reps so we can make sure we're working on the right one. I'm going to go to this one that was 113 bucks. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go to my suppliers page, which is behind that one there. I'm just going to drag that out of the way. And over here, I'm going to go to my orders. Now, by default, we sort these by the oldest first because those are the ones you really need to be getting out the door. I'm going to switch this to the other way so I can see the order I just placed right here for $113, and you can see it has been submitted. I can work this right from here. I don't have to have a rep approve this or anything like that if that's not the way I do things. But if I want my reps to be involved and approving the orders, and maybe they're talking with the customer right now while all this is going on, then they would have their own app here, which is the rep app. And within this app, they would have received a notification that a new order had just been placed, and this is an order for, it was sent to Elaine here, and now it's in her list of orders. And there is a lot of orders here, so I'm just going to switch this. I'm going to sort by newest instead so I can see the one that I just did today. All right, and there's the one I just did today for $113. So just like before, we had the oldest ones at the top. Those are the ones the rep should be working first. But now I've got it sorted the opposite way so I can see mine. This just came in. On my phone, I would have received a little notification like a new email. We do have a little jellyfish icon that pops up in the notification tray. If they push, drag down and then click on the notification there, it's deep linked directly back to the order that they just received. And when they click on that, it would open up the order for them right here. They now have a choice of a few things they can do. They can look at the order and go, yep, that's what I was expecting, and hit approve. If it's something that's just completely wrong, they can reject the entire order, or they can come up here and they can send a comment back to the customer about the order that is pretty simple. It could be something like, thanks. It could be that, hey, this particular item's back ordered. It could be a lot of different things. And that is now going back to the customer there, and they'll get a notification on their phone that they just had a order comment, and they click on their notification, they can read your comment at that point in time. So I'm going to go ahead and approve this and say this is ready to go. All right, the order has been approved successfully. Now, from the rep side, there's other things I can do to manage my orders. One of the things we're not doing here is we're definitely not trying to eliminate the reps by any means. And we want the reps, instead of being an order taker, though, to be able to spend more time with the customers, talking to them about your product lines, talking to them about other things they might want to buy that they would find valuable. And we also want to eliminate that data entry. You saw that I just hit the approve button. That's all I had to do. I could add a 20-line order there, and I didn't have to do any data entry to put it into a spreadsheet or back into some other system. I just hit approve. At that point in time, we also can be integrated into your accounting system. The two that we integrate with right now is QuickBooks Online and Xero. And both of those, for the retail side and for the supplier side, we can integrate with them. On the supplier, when you approve orders like that, it will actually create the invoice for you in your accounting system. For the retailer, when you send an order, it's going to create a purchase order for you in your accounting system. So no data entry, eliminating time as well as eliminating errors during that data entry process. The other things that your reps can do is, of course, they have all the information they need here to view everything. They can view their customers' information on a site. Here they can come in to Kevco Wine and Spirits, and they can see my contact information as a customer here. They can see the visiting times where I want them to come by and talk to me. They even have site notes that they can see that are internal just on the supplier side that can talk about the particular customer and maybe things that they need to try to be doing to make the customer happy. The next step in all of this is I'm just going to go ahead and drag this out of the way right now and go back over to the supplier side. All right, let's go back to my orders. And from here, I am going to go to approved and search. There we go. And I am going to sort this by oldest to newest here. So there's one I just did today for $113. It's now approved. And the next thing I might want to do as a warehouse, and by the way, I can see this little blue dot here, that means there was a comment on there. So as the warehouse, as the sales manager, whoever's looking at this, I can see the communications back and forth between my reps and the customers. So if I need to know I need to do something, if the rep promised something, whatever it may be, I can see that comment right there. Here is what I have from the order details right here. And now I have a choice of what I want to do. Do I want to ship the item now? Do I want to add an item? Did the customer call and say, hey, did you throw something else on my order? I can do that from this button right here. I can print the order. So if you don't have an inventory management system or warehouse management system that is printing out a pick list for you, you can print this screen off right here, hand it to your warehouse guys, and let them go ahead and go out and pick the products. I am going to ship now, though, is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add my shipping details. And if I was doing this on a truck, I could just say that here, or I could choose not to add any shipping details at all. But if I do want to add some shipping details, I can go in there, I can put in my UPS tracking number, I can put in the date it's going to ship, let's say it's today, I can put a note in if I want, and I'm going to hit confirm. And now you can see the order has been shipped successfully. This now is available to me. I can click on the tracking number right here. It brings up the UPS website, which I'll just show you on the retailer side in just a minute here. Or I can go back over to my retail page. Let me switch that back over here. And if I refresh this page, you're going to see that my order has now moved. I actually didn't show you the approved by rep, which would have looked like this, but now I've moved straight to shipped. And it's out the door. If I view the details here, I can see that it is going to be the tracking number right there. And of course, my tracking number was fake, so it's not doing anything, but it brings up the UPS information so they can see it right there. And that is kind of rolling through the order process from start to finish. Let's go ahead and move on here. So I'm going to go back into my supplier side here and just show you a few more things that you can do. So the new customer leads here is something suppliers are always interested in. When I'm a customer, if I'm searching for an item that is available in my region, so if you remember within the distribution centers here, if I go back to this, my mountain region, I have states that I put as Colorado and Utah that are where I distribute to. If I have a customer in those areas that's looking for a product that I sell, it'll pop up in their cart. Now, when I say it'll come up, what I really mean there is if I pull the customer's side back up here, and I go back into my ordering area here, and I click on New Order, you can see we have a site catalog, a regional tab, and a global tab. Items that are in my site catalog are items that are either a supplier's put in an order guide for me, it's an item that we have ordered in the past, may not be in an order guide, but I've ordered in the past, or it's an item I've counted in an inventory count. Those go into my site catalog because they're the items that I use and need to be able to order quickly. But all my vendors' items are in my regional catalog. So the entire catalog of a vendor, maybe I only have 10 items I usually order from a specific supplier, but they offer 1,000 different items. All those items, their entire catalog is available to me in the regional area. I might not have special negotiated pricing on it, but it is there. And then we do have a third tab here, which is a tab called Global, which means that every item that's in Jellyfish, regardless of what state it's available in, and that helps you find items, but we don't know who distributes it in your state. So if you buy it currently from someone, you're going to have to go ahead and put their contact information in for that item. You can add it into your site catalog manually there, and then we'll actually send your orders to them and just say, hey, would you like to get a Jellyfish account? So we try to get your suppliers to sign up, makes it easier for everybody as well. Use Donut Shop as one of my customers. There you go. That's what I wanted to see. Already have an account with the supplier. And if I say no, then it allows me to request an account from that supplier. We put some information in there about what they want to buy from you, and we hit Submit Request. Now, this is the retailer requesting a business relationship with you. We are not like Amazon, where anybody can just order anything from anybody. We have the ability to allow people to request an account for you, but because we're business to business, this is still a situation where you are going to have to, on the supplier side, create that business relationship with the customer. In some cases, that's because there's regulated items and you can't just have anybody ordering anything. In other cases, it's simply because that's the way business is done. If they want a business relationship with you, you may want to offer them terms. You may need to talk to them about their negotiated pricing. You've got to get them set up as a customer. And then once they're set up as a customer, they can buy from you all day long, as many times as they want. So you would get a notification that a new customer request has come in, and that's what this is right here. You get a little blue dot that says New Customer Lead, and when you click on that, you'd see that there is a new opportunity right here for you, and you have the ability now to convert that to a customer if you want to do business with these folks. You might want to call them, talk to them, get everything set up, and then you hit Convert to Customer. At the point you do that, they get a notification that says that, in my case, Jay Peterman has accepted your request to become a customer. You can now put their items in the cart and order them. What we're really trying to do here is allow you to put your items out there and to find new business, new people that want to buy products from you. So that's a pretty cool little area. There's that New Customer Leads. When you see that blue dot come up, that means something good is happening. We have full messaging in the system, and this is a little different than the order comments that I showed you earlier. This is just a way to send a message to anybody that is one of your customers. And you can send these out and say, hey, can I stop by later this afternoon? And it'll just pop up right in their phone there as a notification, as a message, and they can reply back to you right within the app here. We also have some reports on the supplier side. They're just a little basic at this point in time. Here we've got an order report and a customer report. This allows you to sort your orders. You can see your items by the number of times ordered, total price paid, total quantity ordered, those types of things. On the customer side, it's designed to allow you to see which, on the customer side here, it's designed to allow you to see which customers are buying the most from you. You may already know this, but it's kind of nice to be able to see, show me my #1 customer by total value of order or by total quantity ordered, because those could be two separate things. And I can see how that's affected by different sales reps and go from there. Other things that are here are the integrations. We have a couple of things there for both Xero and then QuickBooks Online, and we do have Square coming along as well. That's located under the integrations area there. And then billing reports is tied back to some of the new payment processing type stuff that we're doing here if you want to see reports on all your billing. On the retail side, some of the other things that we allow you to do are a review order is if you're a purchasing person and you want to review the orders that your employees have created before you actually send them in, they'd be located here. Suggested orders is a way to do like a min-max type scenario where when products drop under certain levels, we will suggest that you reorder them. One other thing I didn't talk about that's kind of cool for both the suppliers and the retailers is we also have auto orders here. So if you've used Amazon for something like you have bags of dog food that show up once a month on a certain day, well, we have that same thing here where you can go in and you can just put something onto auto order and it will be ordered weekly, every 2 weeks, or once a month on whatever day you would like it to be ordered on. We'll submit that order to the supplier. It's great for both sides, that way the retailer doesn't ever forget to order something that they go through a lot of. And on the supplier side, you know that your order is going to show up on time and you're not rushing to get something done. So I always encourage both sides, to use that whenever possible. The other things that you can do here would be the invoice on the retailer side. That's where you'll see your invoices your suppliers have sent you. Inventories, this is great for really one specific purpose, and that is we do counts for the purpose of ordering. So we're not maintaining for a retailer a persistent inventory of things as they go up and down and sell them and stuff like that. This is a go count everything and then use those counts to decide what you need to order. It works really well, really fast. You can use barcode scanners for it that are just tied to your smartphone. Little couple $100 Bluetooth scanners makes that whole thing really, really fast. Site catalog is where you see all your items. Here's those notifications and messagings. And then on the retailer side for reports, we have a few more over here. We have the order reports where you can see all the stuff you've been ordering and inventory, what you've been counting. Inventory fluctuations, a nice one here where you can see that the differences in your inventory by both dollar value and by quantities over time. And then order price fluctuation reports, a nice one if you want to see how an item has changed in pricing over the last 6 months or 12 months. You can look at that item here. We have a nice little graph that shows you what that would look like. Supplier accounts is where you manage your suppliers. And sites, employees, this is where you set up employees, as we talked about earlier. I'll show you the restrictions here, where you can restrict employees to, not being able to actually send your orders to the reps. Only you can do that. And then also you can restrict them to only being able to order stuff from the site catalog. So if you don't want them going out and finding new items that you don't have negotiated pricing on, you can actually restrict that here. Other items, let's see what else is here that might be of interest. Inviting your employees, that flows through here in the pending invites. Then you get some basic system settings and things like that. One thing we do have is we have the ability to switch the dark backgrounds to a light white background if you're in a lighter area. We tend to find that some of the darker retail stores really enjoy the dark background. It's easier on the eyes, but if you are working like in a flower shop or something that's light and airy, the white background will probably be a lot nicer. I'm going to stop here. I've kind of been through both sides quite a bit.